My name is Taylor. This is Hack and Company at Remax River City, and I'm super excited to see you, Glenn. Glenn Davis, Always Plumbing. You have been a fixture, or Always Plumbing and Heating. You can't forget how well those two work together. But you have been a fixture in the Edmonton landscape as far as providing trades to homeowners since like 1998. That is much longer than the life of many companies that are your size. I found that really interesting, and now you guys are over 70 employees?
Yeah, we've definitely grown our business over those years into a good plumbing and heating company that help out people with the residential or light commercial projects.
Oh, that's great. So a lot of the times the people that you're meeting are the same people that we're meeting. Families that own homes, and they're trying to kind of avoid the biggest concern with houses, which is water, right? So a lot of the work that you do is installation for new builders, but you're also doing repairs for the average homeowner?
Yeah, we have a 24/7 service company. We also do new home construction. We basically allow ourselves, when it comes to plumbing or heating, to be able to help out any homeowner or business owner with their properties with whatever they need, from repair to just maintenance to maybe even upgrades, or even, additions to new builds.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of things that can go awry. This time of year, we always hear like maybe one of those hose bibs explodes, and somebody's getting a little bit of water into the basement, or sometimes it's a little bit more complex. Like I know in our industry, the world is kind of talking about Polyb. You probably see that all the time.
Polyb is a type of pipe plumbing system that was built, water line system that was put in people's houses, kind of like early 90s, all the way up to some of the 2000s. So you see a lot of it out there. And unfortunately, that type of system, after it was put in place for quite a while, isn't really lasting as long as it should. There's been some major lawsuits in regards to that. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that now. So people are finding out that, when they ever just bought a house, or if they're having it, that they may be falling into some conditions where it's leaking or they've had burst pipes. But it's definitely that we've seen a lot of call volume on lately in regards to, what do we do with it and how do we fix that in our homes?
Yeah, so to further identify it, I know that when somebody's looking at a house, there's a specific year that kind of is associated with Polyb overall, and that would be late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, more. It's really tough to tell, because obviously it was who distributed it and where and what part of the areas did the builders at the time adopt it or not. But definitely around those types of areas that that type of material system was used, and that's what we're typically seeing nowadays.
And if we were identifying this in a house, it looks like plastic lines and they appear to be gray, right?
Yeah, you'll definitely know if it's Polyb. It's more of a lighter gray, darker gray type of material. If it's clear enough, you might be able to even see it on there. And it definitely has like copper rings that clamp it onto every connection that you can see. That's a really good indicator that you have Polyb, compared to copper or any of the new plastic piping that's out there is usually more of a clear color or a red or blue color.
Yeah, we've definitely seen those in some of the new houses. That's got to be handy to basically know which line is which without having to think about it.
Absolutely.
But when it comes down to these Polyb pipes, when you guys are called out to take a look at them, how are you kind of measuring that, whether or not they're going to be a system that is going to fail? What are you looking for?
So yeah, when we come out, there's no real major indicator that could say that if it's still in really good shape or it's ready to be totally replaced. A lot of questions that we ask our homeowners is, when we go through it, have they had any issues in the past, or if they've known any issues that they've had other plumbers come in or anybody to fix it. When we're in the house, we'll look for signs of, is there a lot of patching on the wire lines? Is there a lot of wear that we can kind of tell? After that, we'll look at a lot of the connections. We'll see at the connections if we see a sign of any corrosion, any types of signs of leaks at that point. But you're right, it's really not something that you can just walk right in and just say, absolutely, this has to be changed out. I've seen a lot of systems that look like they were put in from day one and look great. But again, just because of the history around Polyb, and there has been a lot of issues, it's one of those things that we just say, slide on the air of caution that, there has been issues with this type of pipe, and kind of take it from there.
I like that you mentioned how many points that you guys are going to consider when determining whether or not this is a big risk, because the thing that you're concerned about is that you might get a split somewhere in the wall that you can't easily identify, and then the damage can be really significant. But there are so many houses out there that have Polyb in certain neighborhoods, or if you're after specific school zones, you may not have a lot of options there. If somebody was looking at buying a house that had Polyb in it, let's say that person was your cousin, what would you be telling them about, the ownership of a house that has that?
Well, we're noticing that a lot of people are being more aware that it's out there, and what does that mean? Again, if it was somebody that I knew and same thing, everyone's going to say, well, you're looking to always sell stuff. Well, no, I mean, I've seen good systems and I've let people know that, it seems like it's really good. I can't really tell that it's going to fall apart, let's say tomorrow. But again, just keep in mind that there has been issues. And at one point, just like anything, depending on the age of the house, if it was the 90s, we're 20 some years into that type of piping, just like copper or any other plastic wire lines, really there's only about a 20 to 25 year warranty on those lines anyway. So it might be in your best interest to budget to replace that and know that you're not going to have any type of situation like that moving forward. And then you got good wire lines for the next 20 to 25 years in your house.
Man, there's one thing that I find I wish that we could change. How many people only call a plumber when something's leaked, but then you guys go there and there's like 6 or 7 things that they should be taking into consideration. You definitely make a service available where you can have a plumber just come and walk through. Is that correct?
Yeah, we definitely, at the same time, we have membership programs. Our particular company has the Diamond Club package, which is basically a membership package which allows the homeowner to have us come out once to twice a year, depending on the package that they want. With that, we'll definitely look at all their major equipments and do a complete run through of the house just to make sure that everything seems to be working in order, do slight adjustments, and just kind of inform them that the next thing that they should be budgeting for or to look forward to, like I said, from a budgeting perspective. But at the same time, we really want to see if we catch anything glaring. When we had that massive minus 30 week or two of cold weather, we did notice that obviously a lot of things were breaking down. And we really do feel that if people had more of a maintenance or knew a little bit more of how to maintain their homes, a lot of those major breakdowns would have happened, which is, obviously costly and inconvenient for everybody. So yeah, having a kind of a maintenance program in place, even for your house, is really a great way to make sure that you're not ever caught out in the cold.
That's fantastic. And I appreciate that you make that available, because I've seen the effects of that. I was just talking to a handyman that we work with recently, and that house actually froze to the point where a toilet's cracked. Like, the damage that can come from a house that has the heat fail in weeks like we've seen recently, that's catastrophic. I imagine that you've seen some things in your time as a plumber.
Yeah, water is definitely, something we love to have, but you're right. If it breaks apart, and it's not managed, you're right, it can cause a whole lot of damage really quick. And there's really not a lot you can do with it until, you basically replace everything and start over. So something you definitely want to manage as best as you can in your home to really prevent any type of major catastrophes like that to happen. Other great advantage of what we try to do with a lot of our clients too is, if you're a member of our Diamond Club package, we call it front of the line service. So if you're a member and for some other reason you really need a plumber, obviously when it was minus 30, the phone was ringing off the hook as everybody needed us, but we're going to guarantee you that our Diamond Club members are taken care of, and we're going to guarantee that we're going to be in your house within 24 hours to take care of whatever emergency that you have or whatever issue that you need to be looked at.
Oh, that's great. I think that that's a good thing to do, is to form a relationship before you actually need assistance. And just to be able to make a way that can happen in your company is a positive aspect. You must have been given a lot of feedback over time from clients that were looking for, more of a relationship, because they call you every time, right? Now, this time of year, our attention is turning away from furnaces, but I think from walking through properties, this might be a great time to take a look at that item and say, hey, how did it do? Because it just went through one of its biggest tests or time of the year. And does anybody ever debrief after the winter and say, hey, I should look at my furnace? Or is this just something that you get during the cold months?
We definitely run some specials out there, prior or even during more or less the furnace season. You're right. As it started dying down, we're going to start switching more to air conditioning season. But with that said, too, air conditioners work hand in hand with your furnace. So, the furnace does need to be in good operational shape and ready to go to handle any type of AC unit that you already may have on it, or if something that you're planning on adding for the spring, summer.
Yeah, that's something that is definitely probably going to be even more popular this year because everything's happening from home now. It used to be no big deal when you were just sleeping there, especially if you had a busy family. But now that school's from home and work's from home, I imagine that you're anticipating this season to be booked out as well.
We did notice, obviously, kind of from, once COVID kind of hit, the calls for people to really either renovate their basements, even create spaces in the garage with garage heaters, because a lot of people, like you said, are definitely home and just looking for more space to be able to use their house, either for, schooling, just, bringing their, like you said, just lots of opportunities, just even creating a home gym somewhere in their house. So we really have seen an upswing for people renovating their basements, their garages, getting into ACs because they want to feel a lot more comfortable in their house. So definitely a lot of people looking towards upgrading their living space due to COVID.
Yeah, we've been talking to a lot of families as well where they're looking at, is there a way to love it or do they have to list it? And I think that making some heating solutions is one way to kind of keep the peace, because that's what families are really trying to do, is keep the peace, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, of our mottos is we want to bring you comfort, which really is, like you said, in your home, you need to be comfortable because that's the space that you're living in and, sleeping in 24/7. So if you can really find a comfortable space, you're going to find out that you're going to be a lot more relaxed and enjoying your time in that house. And there's a lot of ways to do that with a lot of different products out there.
Absolutely. And you're doing a lot of renovation and new construction as well. Is there new, I know that they're always changing things. Like a few years ago, we saw the window of the mid-efficiency furnace close. But now when you take a look at plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, what's innovative? What's happening on the front end there now when you're working in those new builds?
So yeah, innovation wise is everything's really still driven about, the efficiencies of your, your type of appliance. Obviously with plumbing and heating, we're in the gas appliance industry a lot. So, the upgraded, efficiencies on your hot water tank to the furnaces that you use. And then you can get into it a little bit further depending on how far you want to go or what is really important to you, which could be, water quality. A lot of people want softer water or take the chlorine out of their waters right now. A lot of people, really want to make sure that the air they breathe is really well filtered and the humidity's at the right levels and stuff like that. And with today's new equipment, you could really dial that into exactly what the homeowner is looking for with a lot of great new products out there.
Yeah, like I've seen those, when you walk in the furnace room and there's a few little motors that are on all the different outputs. And then you can get like the same experience as your vehicle where it's like dual zone or triple zone. It's really coming
Absolutely.
a long way with all the furnace and all the efficiency designs and thermostats. Like I remember when the smart thermostats first started coming out, and now they've become so much more advanced. Is there anything that we also see in plumbing? I know that they were working on things because in those two-story buildings, you see the master bedroom just take forever to get hot water. And they've changed the loops in those houses over the last few years. Is that the case?
Yeah, many years ago, even in our new home construction, we kind of looked at how we were running our water line systems and realized that, water is going to be definitely a commodity that people are going to be sought after down the road, or it's going to become more expensive to run through your home. So we started to create different ideas on how we can give you faster hot water at the faucets by just using the way we would plumb your house and just a small pumping system to really give you instant hot water. Unfortunately, it's a little bit tougher to do in older homes where it wasn't plumbed that way. So there is a few little things we can do to help out in certain areas, like at one point of use at the sinks. But yeah, nowadays we're really making sure that we can really be as efficient with the water, the power, your gas, and everything that we do is really thought of.
That's incredible. I know that like that blew my mind when I found out that there was actually like innovation around making sure that when you're getting that, starting your shower and things like that, that you can get that run forward. We're also seeing a lot of people kind of deciding between electric and gas for hot water tanks. Do you have an opinion when you come to one versus the other?
So in the building industry right now, sometimes with the, when we get a little bit zero more lot lines with people's houses and stuff, we're finding out that electric is still a really good, source of heating your hot water. I've never had one, so I can't really tell on average what your extra cost would be on electrical. Maybe not that much, but you will also save on the installation because you don't need the big venting. And then in a lot of cases, that's a problem with like gas-fired versus electric, is how can we vent these new gas-fired ones? How is it going to affect the house? Where we vent this? So there's a lot of considerations to be put in, and that's where electrical may be the better option in a lot of houses, just to meet codes and where it's going to situate in the house.
Man, there's so many things that you can't see from the outside when it comes to this, like how the fire code works and what access looks like. And really, when you take a look into the future, we know that a lot of these resources are going to be more expensive. So creating those efficiencies is a really key element. I appreciate you giving us some insight into what's going on that side, because I just look at you guys like help. Like, you guys are the guys that do the things that I can't do. So I know that when my house is cold, I definitely need to make sure that somebody's going to be there and be there on time. We hear a lot recently in the news, actually, about people being kind of caught blindsided with the cold or what it looks like when you're unprepared. So I do appreciate that you do that for others here. Looks like we may have just lost your... Oh, there you're back.
Sorry about that.
Your signal there. But that's fantastic. So thank you so much for joining me and giving us a little bit of insight. Is there anything else that you want the people that are watching us, which are interested in real estate, to know about plumbing, heating, or air conditioning?
I mean, yeah, like, plumbing and heating is obviously, and being in Alberta, we have the 4 seasons. So really, in a way, your plumbing system is going to react a lot to the 4 seasons. In the winter, obviously, we want to make sure our furnaces are ready to go. We got our filters running, so we're not caught out in that cold like we talked about. But now, as we're shifting to the springtime, we really want to look out for, obviously, the thaw. Are our sump pumps working? Did our hose bibs with the water lines we water our garden, did they break or create a leak that could possibly create a leak? So for ideas like that, it's a lot to remember. So, reach out to a company like ours. Just go on our website. We got lots of great blogs, lots and lots of things to do, and really teach you about your home, things you can do yourself to just make sure that you're prepared for every season. And at that point, if you have any other questions or concerns, by all means, reach out to us and we'll gladly help answer any questions you may have.
That's awesome that you have a library that's going to help people maybe just take out the first couple of steps and say, hey, walk around your house. It's springtime right now. You should check now. And then as we go into the colder months, you should go in and check this again because nobody will make time for it. And a lot of people don't know where to start. I really appreciate that you make that available and that you guys take such great care, because you think about these things because you run into the trouble, right? And I like that you're giving more people solutions up front so that maybe they don't need to call you on this one and they can just form a relationship with you guys for the future.
Exactly. And if it's one of those things where, you're really busy or you don't have a lot of time to be able to maintain that, like I said earlier, then reach out and grab one of our Diamond Club packages. And that's one of the things that we do for you, is basically hiring us to come out at least once or twice a year to take care of all of that. So you're ready for every season and you're not caught with some kind of surprise that you didn't know about or should have did.
Yeah, and that's a great generational change. It used to be that people were ashamed about not knowing about plumbing and not being able to be handy, but the truth is that I should be staying in my lane. I should be focusing on what I do well and then letting other people focus on what they do well, because I definitely wouldn't want to mess around with something like plumbing. I think that it's overlooked. People are afraid of using a mess with electricity, but for some reason, they're not afraid of the plumbing, and it could be a much worse outcome.
Well, like I said, your home is one of your biggest assets. You work really hard to get it. So you really want to make sure you could maintain it and protect it as best as possible. And, as we talked about a little bit earlier, with plumbing, unfortunately, if one little mistake can happen, it can really add up fast. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming by and giving us some trusted expert insight. We really appreciate that you create so many jobs here in Edmonton. Like, I have to say that it takes a lot. There's many sacrifices involved in being an entrepreneur, and it means a lot to know that there's people out there that are looking to make a difference and looking to make sure that small business does well here in Edmonton. So thanks again, Glenn Davis from Always Plumbing and Heating. We really appreciate you.
Really appreciate the invite, Taylor. You have a great day. Thank you.
Cheers.